Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Welcome to HCS Source episode number 4. Tony and I are here to talk about all of the news from HCS, all the updated news so that you guys can keep up. So make sure if you're listening on Spotify or if you're listening on YouTube that you sub to whatever platform is best for you. But I've got to welcome my man, Tony. Tony, how was your day today, brother? How you doing?
I think it's phenomenal, man. We did a little bit of streaming early on in the day. That was absolutely fantastic. Got to grind some Halo. I've been working literally, I think, 6 days in a row where I was casting at night and streaming in the morning, and then sometimes even streaming at night again. So today I got off stream and I collapsed. I just simply took a giant nap up until like maybe about an hour or so ago. Woke up and now I'm just ready for the broadcast. But it was a great day. How about yourself, man?
Oh, my day was absolutely incredible. I have a rabbit, right? And as a pet, and it's very interesting because rabbits are very different than every other creature. And at first, this rabbit, her name is Bailey. She was very scared, right? So she was just scared of everything. She was very timid and stuff like that. But when you develop trust with a rabbit, which takes a very long time, I think she's like 8 months old now. I think she's a year old now. When you develop trust with a rabbit, they do this thing where they come up against your legs, like if you're sitting down or whatever, or if you're petting the rabbit on the couch, and they'll do this thing where they flop, because rabbits' defense is their legs, right? So they hop like really far and they just go. So when they flop, she like flops on her side right next to me, right up against me, and it's like the ultimate sign of trust that you can get from a rabbit. It is so cool. It's like I leveled up my trust with the rabbit Bailey. But she's been doing that so often to me. She licks me like a dog, and that's kind of weird if you listen to it like that, but it's actually them grooming you. So it's really interesting. I never thought I would bond with a rabbit, Tony, and I have bonded with a rabbit. So my day's been great, but that was kind of something cool. Cool part of my day where, I was able to bond with Bailey. It's really, really an interesting thing. But we have a lot of stuff to talk about today, Tony. I'm really excited for today's show, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like, that almost kind of like drives into what we're going to be talking about with our topics today. Because as you start to build trust with that rabbit, they tend to release and lower down their walls and defense mechanism. We're going to talk about some of our teams that are struggling, and as they start to develop that trust, maybe these players start to not go into their bad tendencies and start to actually like truly trust each other. Truly, and what will happen from there, instead of a flop or a lick, instead you will start to breed success. Today's topics, we're going to be talking about Faze performance online, roster lock in 5 days, LVT recap, pro player mental after Rostermania, and Halo Infinite Forge. You guys are not going to want to miss any of this. Let's get right into it. I got a question for you. Now we talked about trust, we talked about love.
Yeah.
I want to talk about fear.
Okay.
And now I know you guys in chat like, what the hell are you talking? I'm going someplace with this. So
I like this.
I want to know, what are you most afraid of?
Wow.
So let's get deep.
I love this. Okay.
Let's open the rabbit hat.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love this. Like, we for those of you guys listening, we've tried to like delve into like the personal side of things, and honestly, like, so you guys can get like a little bit of a window into me and Tony. And this is one of those deep questions, and maybe you guys have answers to it yourself, but I love this question. So physically, Tony, not a lot of people know this, I am deathly afraid of heights, okay? Deathly afraid of heights. Like, I can't climb up a ladder on a rooftop. My legs start shit. Like, this has been a goal of mine to conquer this, and one day, I'm telling you right now, I will skydive. I will do it. If anyone's listening to this, if you challenge me to this at an event or something, I'm going to kill you. Don't do that. But one day I will skydive, and I'm not going to actually kill you, by the way. I love you. That's one of my physical fears. My ultimate fear, though, is you pointing that weapon at me. No, my ultimate fear is dying and people being at my funeral and not saying that I made an impact on their life, and not saying that, good things about, what I was able to accomplish and how I helped them, or how I was there for them, or, things like that. I want to be an impact on the world in some sort of way. So my fear is, and I have this, I have a lot of problems with, like, for instance, weight loss and like goals that I'm trying to set for myself that I don't achieve. So my fear is, like, running out of time and, being, at my funeral and, maybe being above my body and seeing people there and hearing what they have to say about me. And it's not, whether it's made up or fake or whatever. My fear is that I want to be able to pass away and have everyone at my funeral. And it doesn't have to be millions of people. I don't care how many people are there, but I want to hear everyone there say that I had an impact on their life that changed their life. And that's my biggest fear, is that I don't get that. So I have been working countlessly day in, day out to make sure that I'm an impact on my children's life, and also an impact on, my family's life, but also an impact on my friends and, acquaintances' lives as well.
I think it's deep. I think, no matter what your religious background is or what you believe in,
Right.
At the end of the day, I'm sure you believe that no matter what happens after you perish, whatever commodities you were able to attain, whether it's money, riches, partners, I don't know, some juggling partners left and right here, I don't know. But no matter what doesn't go along with you, it's what kind of positive influence have you left on the people in your life and who you've been able to touch. So, wow, I guess I just need a moment to take that. That was deep right there. That was wow.
Not a lot of people know that. Not a lot of people know that about me, by the way. So
I will say that, not that I hope anything happens, obviously, but I would say that you have affected my life in a positive way, a ray of sunshine, and a pillar and and just an example of why I would never play mouse and keyboard. No, I'm totally joking. I'm totally joking. I totally just diminished everything I said by now. Honestly, you affected my life in a positive. Everything about that was tricks in the last part. I totally messed that all up just by throwing that in at the end for no reason.
I loved it. You broke the ice because we were going real deep. I brought up death at the start of the show. You had to do something. You clutched it up right now. That's perfect. I love it. I love it to death.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna ruin that again too, because I'm gonna get a little deep as well.
Okay.
And this is something that I've never talked about out loud.
Wow, guys, you're getting the window into our lives right now. This is what we wanted to do, so it's working. Here you go.
I fear failure.
Okay.
And I fear inadequacy within myself.
Wow.
And I fear failure and rejection. So I overcompensate in probably the most not healthy way. So, and I fear rejection. I never put myself out there.
Okay.
I'm terrible at networking. For example, a lot of people probably ask me like, "Oh, you know all these professional players?" Like, I don't. I put them on a pedestal, just like a lot of competitors do. So I'm afraid to reach out to them and talk to them.
Okay.
Because I'm in fear that they will reject me. It's like, hey, you're not one of us. I fear rejection. I fear failure. So I overcompensate by unhealthily grinding.
Okay.
The reason why you see me streaming every day in the morning, making YouTube videos in the midday, casting at night, and it's day in, day out, no breaks, because I'm afraid if I take a break, I'm afraid if I slow down, I'll lose momentum. I'm afraid if I lose momentum, I will start to decline, and I'm afraid with that decline comes failure.
Wow.
And I fear that so much that I would rather overwork myself to the point of exhaustion and push myself to the absolute limits and beyond, because I'm afraid of what the outcome might be and me failing.
Wow, man.
And I've never talked about that out loud before. And it's real, and I'm hoping that one day I can get to a point where I can start working smarter instead of harder, maybe.
Right.
And look back at my achievements and say I'm happy with what I've been able to put forward, but I'm still on this journey and I have not reached the destination. So I still don't see me slowing down. But so,
honestly,
that's me.
Honestly, and this is a real statement from me. I think, to be honest with you, I think some of the greatest people that have ever lived have those same values and have that same fear. And I think it is a blessing and it is also a curse. Where you say, you've been working your butt off. I've kind of had the same type of mentality, but I've had to really work on balance. And that's the tough part, right? Balance is so difficult, in order to succeed, but also, be with my family and also, give them the time of day. And it's like, hey, I'm sorry. Like, for instance, Cruz, I've been to every one of his basketball games, my son, but the last one I couldn't make because Money Tuesday happened, and that I valued Money Tuesday casting, upping my casting game so that maybe my kids are better off in the future. And so I'm telling you right now, every successful person I can think of in my head has had that exact same mentality. And you're naturally talented at what you do, and I don't see any downward trajectory for you. In fact, I've seen the thing go straight up like Mount Everest, and I'm very happy for you. And if you continue to grind and do your thing, there's no way you're being stopped. And you said that before. No one will outgrind you. And let me tell you something. You're right. You're right. Like you're a grinder, man. I love it. And you've been in this industry for a while, and you're starting to see the fruits of your labor, and that's awesome. Enough kissing each other's ass, though, Tony. Yeah. Excuse my French. But we've got a lot to talk about today, and let me tell you, I love that statement, and it's great. And if you guys enjoy seeing a window into our lives, make sure you let us know. Make sure you let us know that this personal segment that we have is something you enjoy. Or if you'd rather just, not hear about us and we get right into the nitty gritty. But speaking of nitty gritty, we've got to talk about something that's, Tony, it's...
Whoa. I thought I was going to intro. Whoa.
Hey, I'm taking over the show, Tony. I'm just kidding. I want you... What's our first topic, Tony? I want you to tell me because I'm sad. So you know what? Me saying the first topic, it wouldn't. No, it's not going to do it justice. So maybe you should talk about it because I'm biased. So and we'll talk about why. But go ahead, intro us on the first topic.
Well, failure and successes are measurable, and it's dependent on how the third party looks at it or how you look at it within yourself. So we're going to talk about some of the successes and failures of some of our teams that we have in the HCS. One of them being the FaZe Clan performance and what they've been putting together online. Tim, why don't you talk to me a little bit about this rumored new FaZe roster right now going by Roku, right. or it's actually Roku Yukai, and it's a tradition from Yu Yu Hakusho, the anime, where when they're in the tournament, they would like play like a rock, paper, scissors, and whoever won got to fight first within the battles, and it was called Roku Yukai. I watched a little bit of Yu Yu Hakusho. I didn't watch it in total. It was a little bit older anime, like a Dragon Ball Z. Okay, yeah. So I would catch it sometimes on like Toonami late at night when my mom didn't know I was still awake, and it was really cool. Like it was like, now that I think about it, that was like so cool. Like at one point, like he would point like this finger gun, and it was called a spirit gun, and he would shoot a spirit bullet out of his finger. Like now that I think about it, I was like, and then it was when one had like the spirit sword, where he was just like he would hold on to something. Eventually, he didn't have to hold on to anything, and the sword would just appear in his hand out of nowhere. All the animes that are like really cool, like if you really think about it, like wow, this guy shot a bullet
out of his finger.
Either way, talk to me about this new FaZe Clan roster.
Yeah, so you speak of the name there, and I already I'm not going to try and pronounce it. Roku, regardless, these guys played in the esports arena, and they unfortunately struggled against the likes. I believe it was Fnatic, correct, Tony?
Winners finals lost. They lost 2-1 in the winners finals to Fnatic to get out to the elimination bracket. They did end up running back into them in the grand finals, where they swept them in a 4-0 sweep, 2 best-of-3 series to win the tournament. But they did lose 1 best-of-3.
Okay. So they to me, the biggest thing is today. It's actually just happened, and you and I were on stream, and we were watching these scrims together. But, this rumored FaZe clan, Oroku, just lost 12-1 to Optic Gaming. And, man, I didn't expect this. And this is why I'm kind of sad. I'm a little bit biased, which I shouldn't be, but I just am. The minute I saw this roster, Tony, I had mentioned that, I think I said it like, I think they're going to win Worlds. And, or I know they're going to win Worlds. I was very confident in my statement. Based off of the performance today, I'm not saying that it can improve, but I'm saying I'm a little bit worried about my statement. But, that's kind of my brain talking, right, at that point. My heart tells me this. You can see all the performance of this potential FaZe roster, and you can see that they're losing a lot of scrims, and they're, 12-1 against Optic is not something to, shot. It's online, I understand, but 12-1, that's tough. I mean, it's not a good look. But in my mind, there's 4 things that will allow and that will push this FaZe roster to win Worlds. And I know Worlds is a little bit away, and that's why I'm making this statement. Let's add that. Let's say 5 things. Number 1 is a simple one. It's time. This is not a honeymoon stage roster. They obviously have not come out and shown that they're one of the best in the game, and that doesn't always happen. You don't always have that honeymoon stage. But let me talk really clearly about the other 4 things, and I've talked about them before on a previous podcast. I think it was episode 2, but I'm going to talk about them again. Number 1. At Worlds, we're talking $1 million prize pool, okay? And yes, $1 million is life-changing. It is. And even that first place, second place, third place prize is going to be up there. Life-changing money. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 and 3 and 4, those are going to be the more important ones in my opinion. Money is one thing. When you're talking about Snipedown and his tweet, and I'm going to keep going back to this tweet. He decided to focus fully on Halo because of his dad. He wanted to show he's on FaZe. Halo's in a rough spot. It frustrates him, but he's willing to put the work in to show his dad that he can accomplish something that he's committed to and that he put, that he put himself out there for, and that was Halo on the FaZe roster. He said he's committing to Halo, and he has. He's been playing a lot of Halo. He's been streaming a lot of Halo as well. That's number 1. So, for your dad. We're talking about whys here, okay? And whys are the most important thing. You can always go into a tournament, and these guys are going to be playing at a pretty much, I wouldn't say like an even level. Like, they're not all exactly the same skill level, but they're pretty much around the same skill level, all of these players, right? So then the whys come into play. And that's why number 1 for Snipedown, his father. I mean, my father passed away in 2015. It was a long time ago, but my stream grind and my content grind and my casting grind has all been in the hope that my dad's looking down on me and can be proud of me, okay? That's one of the big reasons I do what I do. So that's a big one right there. And then you have Renegade, right? This is reason number 2. Renegade on Cloud9. Arguably, obviously a top 1, top 2 roster. He wants to prove that leaving Cloud9, he wants to prove that he can get where he needs to get without them. He thinks he's one of the better players. There's obviously some stuff going on behind the scenes with that roster that, made him unhappy. He's got that to prove, that he can still compete at the highest level, that he can still win championships without that Cloud9 roster. That's why number 2. And then we have why number 3. Right? Sparty. The man on United gets benched. And it was probably per contract. I don't know. I'm not a fly on the wall. But he gets benched, loses out, and is making $300 a month, barely surviving salary. And it's because the United either can't let him go or there's a, buyout factor or whatever there. I'm not exactly sure of the exact situation, but, he talked about it a little bit on Twitter. That's the 4th reason. The fact that Sparty was stuck on a United, and now finally, I would assume we're going to get announced this. FaZe has bought him out, or is looking to buy him out. He's finally gotten freed from the chains of a United, and he can be free and now show that he's one of the best players in the game, which I think he is. All of those whys, plus the $1 million, equal, to me, winning Worlds. Now, you see this right now, right, Tony? It doesn't look good. It looks ugly. 12-1 to Optic in scrims, not the best look in the world. But I'm telling you right now, with time, with them looking at those Optic scrims, going into theaters, studying, which I know they will, they're all top players, they know what they're doing. This roster could turn it around, and I guarantee they're going to be, I'm going to go on a limb and say they're going to win Worlds here. I guarantee it's going to happen with all those whys and all that fire.
I like to take a lot of digs at you. So let me premise what I'm about to say completely with saying that I think those are great points. And I think oftentimes I talk about, plays that are made outside of the scoreboard, outside the stat sheet, but also, bringing up intangibles like what's happening and what's the meaning? What are you playing for outside of just yourself, the win, the accolades, and the money?
Right. And
I think that was very, very well put. And so I guess I take a little digs, but I credit when credit's due. I think those were all phenomenal points.
But
I guess I'm gonna push back a little bit.
Okay, I like it.
I'm gonna say that the same way that they have the whys and the intangibles, the same that other teams do as well. Sentinels trying to get back to that dynasty that we know they have, that feel like they're disrespected. Sentinels, go from being one of the, if not the greatest team in Halo history, to not even being considered to make grand finals in Kansas City
right.
and in Anaheim as well. Like, what? Like, we're undervaluing Sentinels, so I think that's a big why.
I like that.
A lot of people questioning Optic, whether they are just a quote unquote online team. I didn't say that. I was just saying other people have said that and have yet to find their big win. That's a why to me. KCP, the ultimate underdog. Same with Fanatics. United trying to prove that they can still be a top team outside of having Spartan. So I feel like there's a lot of intangibles across the board that I feel like are worth mentioning as well. And I don't want to put on value on who has more to lose. That's not my place. But
absolutely.
I don't know if I'm ready to say that FaZe are going to win Worlds. I
can see that. I mean, yeah.
I mean, like you said before, you got 12-1 by Optic, who again another team that's something to prove as well. You lose out to Knights twice. You lose out a series to Fnatic, a team that is destined to win Worlds. In my opinion, is not losing to Knights and Fnatic.
Okay. Yeah.
Now I will be fair to FaZe, and I say it all the time. The only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. FaZe need time to put in that work. They need time to build that locker room.
Yeah.
They need time to figure out what they want to do against the top echelon of teams and the coordinated teams, and how they're going to gain that coordination on top of the firepower that they bring, that we know they're going to bring. I mean, I'm not going to be disrespectful. When it comes to slang ability, when it comes to execution, as far as in the stats in the Slays department, there's probably no better team to do it than the likes of Renegade, Spartan, Falcated, and Snipe Down, the rumored Faze roster, not official yet.
Right.
But currently going by Roku. However, until I'm a what have you done for me now?
Okay.
Not what will you do for me in the future? Not what have you done for me in the past? What have you done for me now? And as of right now, you got 12-1 by Optic.
Right.
As of right now, you've lost to Knights. As of right now, you've lost to Fnatic. So now I need to see personally, if I'm going to sit here and say that you're going to be winning tournaments,
right,
especially Worlds, I need to see that work.
Okay.
We have 5 days until freaking roster lock. We're running out of time
we
here.
Are.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have to see it first. When I look at the FaZe roster, I think they walk into any tournament, guaranteed top 4, contending for top 3. And if they play to their potential, to their ceiling, why the hell can they not win? Like, are you telling me the squad can't win Orlando?
Right.
Give me a good argument. I dare anybody. My DMs are open. I'll come out and we'll talk about it. I stream every day, 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't hide it from anybody. Come out and argue with me that FaZe have no chance of winning a tournament.
Right.
Because the moment you say that, I'm saying you don't know Halo.
Right. Right.
I'm saying you don't understand competitive Halo. I'm saying you have no idea what you're talking about. You can make an argument for anybody on, Faze, Optic, Sentinels, even United KCP on a good day.
Right.
And there's a lot of teams that have the ability to win a tournament. But if I'm going to sit here and bet my bottom dollar that they are going to win Orlando or Worlds,
yeah,
I need to see more than I have. And I'm eager to, and I'm excited to.
I love that. I think that I honestly, I love that. I love that's the completely opposite side, and I think that's very important to think about. It's you don't see anything coming out of them, and for me, I feel like Halo is such a mental game, and yes, 12-1 today, not so good, right? But for me,
not so good.
Yeah, it's
That's
not
putting
so
it
good.
lightly.
Yeah, it's not so good. But and it made me sad. It did. But for me, that's 12-1 is great. Okay, I look at this as like, in a sense, yes, you lost 12-1, but you literally have 12 games to watch to see what you did wrong. You have 12 games to study. Now, that's a lot of time. You've also got, I believe it's Towie, right? Towie's the coach of FaZe. I mean, the guy has coached some big rosters in the past. The guy knows Halo. He knows Halo.
Instinct.
Right. I mean, they're going to look at these films and dissect them. Optic giving them these 13 games was a mistake. I'm going to be honest. Like, I know, I understand we haven't seen a lot. I understand we haven't seen the potential that they bring. But I'm going to tell you something right now. Their ceiling that you talk about, that's Mount Everest. Like, they literally, like, listen, on paper, the roster's so good. There's just this, like, small chance that somehow they don't mesh. And, yeah, that's definitely a thing. I mean, you've got Renegade, one of the top players in the game, top 2 in the game, in my opinion, on the roster. You've got Sparty, who is also an incredible slayer. I mean, you've got lots of firepower with Snipe Down as well. Like Falcated being, in my eyes, the glue for the roster. And there's a possibility it doesn't work, but yeah, I really do think that that FaZe have a chance to win Worlds. But yes, I agree with you that if you look at the other side of it, it's very difficult to make that assumption. I've been talking too much about FaZe though. Tony, why don't you bring us on to our next topic here?
Yeah, we talked a lot about FaZe, but expectations are going to be high, straight up. And FaZe just became a publicly traded company that I actually just bought stock in myself. So the brights aren't light enough. Every success that goes their way is now success that might go back into their stock and go back into their numbers. Yep. Any failures might be taken as a sign of weakness. So FaZe have a lot to go. When we talked a lot about FaZe, let's talk about some other rosters as well. Moving on to roster lock in 5 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For those who are confused, math is hard.
That's so close, man. Holy crap.
What rosters stand out to you? What rosters are on your mind going into this roster lock?
Potentially for me, and I'll make this kind of quick. Right away, it's going to be the KCP roster. We'll go over, the LVT recap and go over that tournament. But basically, there was a 4v4 tournament, KCP, versus Fnatic, and I will say that Fnatic, not a top 3-4 team, but KCP with Nick looks so strong. I feel like Nick is literally playing so comfortable with these guys. Like, he's able to play at that pace that he's always wanted to play at. But like, literally, if you think about KCP, their pace is unmatched. Like, they are the fastest team in HCS. They will, and that's why like Streets is such a good map for them. Like, the ability to curb slide like on every single platform. Like, their movement is so good. Their movement tech is so good. Every player is so good at movement. And now Nick involved, I feel like they have that. He has that pace to work with, and he plays comfortable with that pace. But he also has the veteranship to slow down the game and make that call to slow down the game. And I think that's exactly what KCP need going into these next tournaments. They need someone that can tell them to slow down, because in previous LANs, in previous tournaments, you see just think about Optic versus KCP. They read it, right? KCP wins first game. KCP potentially wins second game, but then it's red. It's like reading a children's book, because they knew that KCP plays fast. Trippy, as Formal said, one of the cringy player on the team, will sit behind a corner and just wait. He'll wait for the push. They set up a trap. Done. KCP's done with. That's what I think was wrong with KCP. That's why I think they couldn't break top 4. And that's why I think they will break top 4 now with Nick. With some time, Nick playing as comfortable as he was yesterday against the top teams too, I think KCP's got a good chance. Roast me, Tony. Do it.
I'm not gonna roast.
Yeah, you are.
I think you brought some great points. I mean, I think King Nick brings a level of aggression that ultimately KCP is known for. If you don't bring that, you can't fit into KCP. Simple as that. I think the idea of bringing a veteran leadership and understanding that King Nick knows how to play the game and plays the game right, has been playing it for a very long time. I believe he actually was a Halo 1 phenom. From what I've heard as well. I never played Halo 1. Who am I to question King Nick? I mean, right. King Nick has destroyed me on LAN. I'm not going to question that. You bring up the performance with KCP absolutely looking dominant against Fnatic in the Louis V Titan event, the Monday Tuesday event. I think it's important. I think it's good to bring up. Before I address that, I'm going to go back a little further.
Okay.
Fnatic struggled in the open, scrims and have been struggling recently. They've had an up and down season where we've seen potential out of this squad, but we haven't seen execution. We haven't seen them reach that potential, at least not consistently. KCP, I believe the same thing. Maybe not to the dramatic lows as Fnatic, maybe slightly higher, but I mean, when the beginning of the season, we had KCP legitimately contending for top 4. Damn it, they were.
Right.
Since then, they've had up and downs. They've played down to the competition, losing to teams that I feel like they shouldn't.
Yeah.
They've won against teams that they should have, but it's, again, up and down, and we have not seen consistency. And the one thing I was hoping that King Nick would bring to the squad is consistency. Fast forward to just yesterday. Yes, I think they looked great in the Monday Tuesday event. They looked damn it, they looked amazing. They actually looked like the team that they're supposed to look like.
Right.
But why the hell should I give a damn of what a struggling team is doing against a struggling team? Like, if the Jets beat the freaking Giants, am I gonna throw a parade? Like, why do I care?
Right.
Like, why am I supposed to care? Fnatic and KCP both are looking for answers right now. I'm tough on them because I first of all, I got my come up from Halo 5.
Yeah.
The same way that they grew up is I kind of feel like I grew up with them. Like I feel a bond with them.
Yeah.
And I want them to succeed. In any matchup, you have Fnatic and KCP, the ultimate underdogs. And I love rooting for an underdog, but I have to realistically think they can win.
Right, yeah.
And with that, I have to see performance. Names do not win tournaments. Names do not win matchup. Performance do.
Yeah.
And when KCP and Fnatic are executing, they can contend with some of the best, taking Cloud9 to a top 5, to a game 5 on when the lights are brightest. KCP, taking down Built by Gamers, taking down Fnatic at Kansas City. Shoot, riding that high on Kansas City. That was amazing.
It was incredible.
It was incredible. But at this level, we need to start seeing consistency out of both of them. I'm getting tired. I'm sure people are tired of hearing me saying that. Wow, their ceiling is high.
Right.
Wow, their potential is high. Wow, they can beat every team in the league, and eventually it starts to turn to, okay, cool, but what's your floor?
Right.
Right. We ain't talking about a mansion here. Floor to ceiling don't matter. And we're talking about competitive esports.
Right.
We need your floor to ceiling needs to be as close as possible. You need to barely be able to live in that.
I agree.
And that's what I want to see. So when it comes to these open events, no more getting dropped out in the second round. I don't give a damn who's in there. Show that you belong here.
Right. Because
you both of you are the most dangerous teams in the league. They both play very similar, very fast, very in your face, constant aggression, and no team wants to match up against it. They're scary. It's like back in the day with the Spurs not wanting to match up against the Suns.
Yeah.
Back with Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire, the boys, because they are dangerous.
Right.
And they are scary. and they can win. Now let's see it. I don't know if you want to talk about any more rosters going into the roster lock at 10:38 p.m. or should we move on here? Is there any other roster? I'm gonna ask you, is there any other rosters that you want to talk about, or am I okay to move on?
I think we're okay to move on. I think United looks okay. They were just scrimming KCP. They look okay. It was kind of even, so I need to see more. We don't know who the fourth is, so just gotta kind of see more out of that roster. But I think they're looking pretty good. Are they a top 4 team? Still probably not. Not right now at this point, but it's roster locks in 5 days, Tony. These teams are locked in. There's nowhere to go now. Like, you're not going to make a change in 5 days. There's no changes going to happen. I don't think any changes are going to happen within these next 5 days. So these rosters are locked. And when we find out what that fourth is, I think the picture will make more sense. But yeah, we can definitely move on.
Okay. Since you brought up Ynot, I'll just quickly glance over the fact that Manny did end up coming over from KCP to join them.
Yeah.
Hyper aggressive player. Very good one. If there's any way that he could reach his full potential and gain some consistency that they didn't have with KCP, it might be under the tutelage of Ryan Noob. Ryan Noob treats the game like chess, and I think he's going to work wonders for Manny, especially you add on top of that range communication, which is clear, concise, effective, and the mystery fourth being absolutely lights out. We talked a little bit about the LVT recap. Like we said, KCP dominating over Fnatic. We talked about Fnatic struggling a bit. So why don't we talk about the other two events, one being LSS, and why don't we bring it to the opener? Because the favorites, Legend and SLG, not able to overcome the new Na'Vi members. I'm not sure if it's even official about Snakey, but I know it's Mighty's is official. Right. Mighty's and Snakey coming out and beating Legend and SLG, again, the favorites, pulling off the upset. Talk to me a little bit about that, Zem.
I'll try to be a little bit quick because we are low on time. But yes, I got to cast that and with Shyway, and I was thoroughly impressed. Mighty's and Snakey look so good. Specifically, and I think Snakey's did a great job, but I've got to highlight Mighty's. The guy went to LAN with Na'Vi at Valencia. Was able to perform on LAN at his first, Tony, you can correct me here. I believe his first LAN event, right? Whether it's his first LAN event or not, it's his first LAN event with an org like Na'Vi. That's a big org and some big shoes to fill, you know, and to prove that you belong there and that they made a good decision. As for Snakey, obviously he is not official just yet. It hasn't officially been announced, I don't believe. But they both played so incredibly well. And, SLG and Legend look like, I wouldn't, they played well, but I feel like Mighty's just brought it to the next level. His game on recharge with that shock rifle, my word. Like, there's no way to mentally come back from that if you're at Legend and SLG. How do you do it? SLG, one of the best EU players in the league, and Mighty's just shut him down, and Mighty's is so young. That Na'Vi roster looks phenomenal right now. I can't wait to see them play as 4. I want to see how that all works out. But I mean, as a duo, those two look like they're on par, and I'm excited to see what happens with Na'Vi.
The whole entire upper echelon of EU in the scene is actually really young too. Like, you think of Legend and Shady, and they're really young as well. SLG is young too. Damn it, they all look 12 years old compared to us over here in America. But that's because we just eat more.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I like what Na'Vi bring to the table. Every time I watch and cast them, I feel like they play amazing. And then I look at some of the results. I'm like, oh, they didn't win the tournament. Why? Why not? Yeah. When I was casting, it was amazing. They were. I was surprised they didn't win. Quadrant and Ascend are good.
Yeah.
Quadrant, man.
Very good.
Quadrant and Ascend are great.
Yeah, I agree.
Quadrant and Ascend, I believe both finished top 8 in Kansas City,
which is nuts.
Not a regional, in the world,
which is nuts.
Both of them top 8, and I'm not sure to say Na'Vi can't.
Yeah,
but it's crazy. Like, Na'Vi's the partner team out of the 3 as of right now. We don't know what's actually happening with that partnership.
Yeah,
and as of right now, consistently, I think they're the 3rd best team in the EU right now. I mean it's just how it is, man.
Yeah.
If y'all don't know, the French are just different in Halo. It's France North America, and everybody else. France is number one. It's just I don't know what to tell you. The SLG, you know, who able to. I have a thing. If you're able to slay out, and IGL, I like you.
Oh, that's nuts. Yeah, I agree.
Because it doesn't make any sense to me. Normally, an IGL is someone that sits towards the back, being their teammate, trying to look at the map as a chessboard.
Anchor. Yep.
And now I don't speak French, but what I understand, SLG is the IGL, and he's always stuffing the stat sheet. So if you can slay heavy and you can IGL, I like you.
Yeah,
it's simple as that. Legend was one of the scariest players in Halo 5. Halo 1s, 2s, free for all. We're not talking about just like a competitive, we're just about a godlike Halo player. And I was surprised the Legend didn't hightail it out of him and Shady to hightail out of EU and come over to North America for more opportunity. Shady's doing it now. Shady's trying to get over here. I was really surprised Legend didn't.
Barcode too. I think.
Barcode is as well.
Yeah.
I think Na'Vi are phenomenal. With Jimbo. Oh my god, man. I love me some Jimbo.
He played so well. He played so well at Valencia, dude. Jimbo,
I love Jimbo, bro.
And he said in an interview that he just felt a lot more comfortable, and it showed. Like, he played so well at Valencia, man. I that's why I really just want to see them as 4. And I haven't watched any scrims. I'm not sure if they are scrimming, but you know, with Halo Data Hive being down, it's hard to keep up with everything. But I do think Jimbo looks really good, and if he can perform like he did in Valencia, and those two can perform the same, it's kind of hard to say, but like the same in 4s as they did in 2s, like showing the same individual skill. My goodness, Na'Vi looks really good. Maybe they break into the top 8. You know, it's
and I'm gonna apologize to the chat because I don't know as much about the the EU scene as I would like to, as far as the recent scrims. I keep heavy tabs on what's happening here in North America as far as you know, top amateur scrims, and I haven't been able to do the same. But I think I'm still fair in saying that as of right now, Na'Vi, as of right now, the 3rd best team in EU.
I agree.
But as far as when history shows itself, Na'Vi on LAN are amazing. Right. And there was a point where they actually, I believe, outplaced Quadrant and Ascend, I believe, at Raleigh. Wow. So if you can do it once, I think you can do it twice. So Na'Vi, I can't wait to see you in Orlando. We know you're going to be there.
Let's go.
And come in and show that, hey, look, when it matters most, when it's going up against the best in the world, we're still the best LAN team. And if they can outplace both of them, then let's start talking.
All right.
Let's start talking. Moving on. I believe we have a little bit of time on us. We started. I don't know what time we started. I don't know. Whatever. you guys, if you made it this far in the damn podcast, clearly you like it. We'll run 3 hours if you want. 24-hour stream. Go start it right now.
Let us know.
Tell your kids to tuck themselves in. I want to talk about Rostermania.
Yeah.
And I know you guys at home, like, oh, the YouTube guy. You trying to talk about Rostermania? Shut up.
YouTube guy.
Yeah. You want to talk about it too. That's why you're watching the video.
Absolutely.
Shut up. But I want to talk about more than just, you know, player acquisitions. I don't want to talk about getting dropped, but who's getting acquired. And instead, I want to talk about the mentality.
Okay.
I want to talk about what's going on in the brain, because, you know, if your job being on the line, like your job, this is how we make money.
Yeah, it's scary.
You know, I don't know if you guys at home have ever worked a full-time job where you didn't have job security and maybe you felt like the end might be coming soon, you know, and then, you know, no fault to you or the company, but, you know, the performance wasn't there or whatever it is, if it's performance-based metrics or whatever it is, right. You felt that at any point in time you walk into work, you might be let go. And if you haven't, I'm going to tell you, it's a terrible feeling. It is an awful feeling. It is probably the worst feeling in the world. It's hard for you to wake up. It's hard for you to go home. It's hard. It's hard for you to have a balanced social life outside of work, because that is clouding the back of your mind. Part of your mind is now being clouded by this doubt or this fear of inadequacy, and ultimately how you are going to provide for your family past when it happens. Sorry, I went on a really long prelude about that. But talk to me about the mental that is affected by Rostermania.
Honestly, like you said, it's tough. I think that one player I want to point out is going to be Lethal, right? Now, again, I want to make very clear that these are all rumors, and we don't have anything official or whatever. But there was a rumor that Sentinels was trying to release Lethal and pick up Renegade. And this was before, obviously Renegade looks to me like he's going to be on Faze now. Nothing's official. I got to make sure that I say that, because until you see that tweet from the org, it's not. But Lethal, the fact that he just won Kansas City, Tony. They just won KC when no one, and I mean no one except for Clutch, thought they were going to win. To me, it's mind-boggling, because now you have performed, and people can say you underperformed due to stats. Stop it, okay? Stats aren't everything. Just stop. These guys have been, they're a dynasty. They've been playing together forever. He's obviously not very comfortable with Halo Infinite. You can tell you can tell he's not as good as he could be, but the guy's still putting in the work, and he's still performing. These guys won Kansas City, and then Lethal has to potentially, and again, this is a rumor here, that he's no longer going to be on the roster that he's been with for however many years, a long time. And that to me is tough. Now, it looks like he is back on it. Looks like nothing's changed. And of course, no one, besides the rumors, no one's going to officially say, Sentinels is not going to be like, we were going to officially drop Lethal for, no one's going to tell you that. But if it did happen, Lethal's mental is questioned. I question Lethal's mental at this point in time. Is he still cool with his boys? Is he still is this team camaraderie still there? Are they still having burgers at Five Guys, after scrims? That's the question, right? And you have to ask that question, because this plays a factor in how he performs. This plays a factor in how badly he wants to win. If there's grudges, or if there's, some of that, then it's going to be difficult. But I'm going to give you my opinion on it. I think Lethal is a professional. I think he wants to win. And I think that this has gone past him. I think maybe he, thought about it for a couple days, maybe 3, whatever. Went to go play Final Fantasy, came back, and now he's better. I think he's over it. I think that's just the type of person Lethal is. If there's one person that can get over it quick, it's going to be Lethal, in my opinion. So I think that, honestly, he's over it at this point. I think that he's just grinding now. I mean, like I said, roster lock in 5 days. We got Orlando, we got the Super, we got Worlds. That's it. The season's over after that. We don't have a lot. Super Tony, $120,000 on the line, by the way, for an online event. Absolutely nuts. So these teams are ready, or getting ready, and I don't think a little thing like that is going to stop Lethal or anybody. Sentinels is scary, and when it comes to LAN, never count them out, ever. And I honestly think Lethal's going to be fine.
I think there was 2 things that you said that kind of popped out to me. Number one, something Garrett said as well, that if there's any player who's mental strong enough to get through something like this, it might just be Lethal. And right. I agree. If there's anybody, it might just be him.
Right.
And you kind of glanced over it, but I'm going to bring it back to, I think it was a great point is, and really, are you still boys? After things are all said and done, is it super necessary for you to be in love with your teammates, your best friends? I don't think so. Does it help? Sure. I think it helps. Why not? Yeah. Why not? And I feel like this squad has always been, so at least from what I've noticed, always been extremely close. I don't think Lethal needs it, but this is for any Rostermania situation where there's rumors about you being dropped and then you're going to stay on. So just Zero end up being benched for 2 weeks, come back, and he's on the roster going into Kansas City, or might have been Anaheim. I'm sorry, I can't remember which one it was. It was one of the lands though. He was benched for 2 weeks. I was like, what the hell? They went back to him.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks he was benched for. They were running with the Smurfs, and rumored one of them was actually Swish as one of the rumors.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
It was a bunch of other people they were running with as well. Like I said, 2 weeks. Say SSG going through collect, Lethal with Sentinels, and anybody else where this starts to come up, where Rostermania comes in and you're still on the team. I think this is where your locker room is tested, and this is where we need to start making comparisons to real sports and where your leadership comes from, and do you have real leadership? Because say in the sense, and again, I'm not going to say that Lethal needs this.
Yeah.
But this is me. if I'm the coach, manager, or the leader of the team, I'm going to have a conversation with each of my teammates individually and ask, hey, how do we feel about Lethal both personally and professionally?
Right.
That's number one. And then I'm going to ask, can we win with Lethal on the team?
Yeah.
I'm going to hope I get a yes from each individual, and I'm asking Lethal himself. How do you feel about, individually, how do you feel about this team both personally and professionally? Great. Do you feel like we can win together? If the answer is yes unanimously,
yeah,
we have a group meeting. And I would say something like, Lethal, is it true that we try to bring in Renegade in place of you?
Yeah.
Yes. We're not going to lie about this. Is it true that Renegade is the only player that we would bring in
right.
that includes not trying out Spartan, that includes not trying out Pistola,
right.
that includes not trying out John Schmo down the street who swears he's good at Halo and is a Plat 4?
Yeah.
That's also true. And whether it's true or not, I'm saying that regardless. But I'm going to give you the reassurance and say, look, this didn't happen. However, let's go forward. Let's do what we have to do to succeed, because we all just agreed, good, bad, left or right, yes, no matter what it was, there was one answer that was unanimous, and we all said that we feel that we can win together. So whatever happens before then, throw it out the window.
Yep.
What do we need to do in order to get to that point where we just said that we can win? And I think that's true leadership. I think that's true management. And I don't care who it comes from. Coach, player, manager, org owner, you know? Because I promise you, G1's Mikowski and Savage, they come. They have that gravitas and they have that ability to do so. I don't care who it is. Not the G1 leader. I'm just pointing out them. There's the org owners that happen to have respect to their players. I'm just pointing that out. Is that this is where your locker room is tested, and that where you need a leader. And hopefully every team that's going through these Rostermania situations have that, because I think it's undervalued, but I think it's necessary, because in order for you to succeed and reach your maximum potential, you have to have the uncomfortable conversations. I hate to break it to you. I know people don't want to have them, but they're conversations that have to be had.
100%.
And I think it's important. We talked a little bit about Lethal on Sentinels. Did you want to talk about any other teams as far as the mental with Rostermania by any chance, Tim? I know we're running a little low on time here. Was there any other teams that you wanted to bring up? I think we have a little bit of time.
Yeah, I do. I just want to, go on your point real quick about Lethal. 100% agree with what you said, and I love that, Tony. I think, I don't care who it is, that talk needs to be had, because regardless of how you act on the outside, or how confident you are, or whatever, not a care in the world like we see Lethal have, I think always in the back of your head, you've got to have that clear, there's got to be like that clear energy between you and your teammates. And so that talk, I think, is very, very important, because like I said, there's a lot of big tournaments coming up. Another team I want to talk about real fast, and of course, we were going to talk about Halo Infinite Forge, Tony, but we'll get to that next week. We'll save it for next week, because there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about with that, especially with all the leaks that happened. But
before you go, that, because I think we have some time a little bit.
Okay.
Anybody in the chat that have any questions? Throw them in the chat right now.
That's not a bad idea.
We're going to go into this last topic. However, if anybody has any questions, throw them in the chat right now. We'll go. Let's throw a little spin on it, Tim.
I like that a
lot. We'll do the last topic, and then maybe we'll pick a question or two if it comes up. If not comes up, no pressure. No. But if you guys have any questions in the chat, throw them up and whatnot. Let's mess around with the format a little. I'm sorry, Tim. Go on. I apologize.
No. If you guys are in the Twitch chat right now, by the way, we stream every single Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. If you guys are in the Twitch chat right now and you're a sub to Tony, make sure you put why not BC paper throw in the chat. Just throw the papers out. We're not following the script anymore, Tony. I love it. Guys, put your questions in there and we'll get to them. But I do want to bring up real quick one more team, and that's going to be SSG. There were a lot of rumors that Collect was actually going to be on another roster. And on this roster, I feel like he would have fit really well. And I don't think I don't know if it was public or not, Tony. So I'm a little worried about bringing it up. But regardless, if it was public or whatever, then we can talk about it. Or regardless, he was scrimming with another roster, and it looks like now he is back playing with SSG. And honestly, I feel like he's in another Spartan situation now. I don't know the whole SSG situation. And I want to make sure that everyone understands I love SSG. I think they're great as an org. I think they're a phenomenal org. And I think, honestly, I think they look really good as a squad. And, I didn't want to see them separate at all. So I'm kind of glad that they didn't. But does Collect feel the same way? I did hear as well that, he was on stream and someone in his chat had told him that Boo Boo was scrimming with SSG in his place, and this was a long while ago before they ended up performing really well against Optic and all that in one of the pro series. But that happened, and then now him trying to get off SSG, maybe potentially it's a rumor, but can't. Again, I don't know the full story. These are only rumors. I just want to make that clear. How is his mental affected? Because again, we're talking the Boo Boo situation, and now again scrimming with a potential other team, and not being able to be let go, and now back on SSG again. Tony, it's a literal roller coaster for the poor guy, and I think the guy's got so much potential. And I talked about it last week. I hate to, I'm trying not to be biased here, and I know I talk about him a lot, but I talk about him a lot because I really do see his potential. I see him being one of the best players in the game at his age, at his skill level, at his confidence. He corrected me in the chat last week and told me he was not an FFA player. So Collect, I'm really sorry about that. I feel like he plays like an FFA player. His aggression, his confidence, his ability to win the 1v1s, the pivs. The guy's he's always behind the enemy team, and he's just always winning 1v1s. And when you have a thorn in your side like that, it's difficult to play your game. And I think he's an incredible player. And I think he's got a lot of growing to do. And I think with that growth, he could be one of the best in the game. But what is his mental looking like on SSG right now? I mean, on one side, you want to perform. On one side, if you're not thinking about your team at all, you want to perform so that potentially maybe you get picked up, after the roster lock, after Super, you get picked up by another team, or maybe you get picked up next season when your contract ends, whatever it is, he's got to perform, right? At the end of the day, he's got to throw that away. He's got to throw it out the window. He's got a huge future ahead of him. Lethal, he's already top 25 best Halo players of all time. He's top, I think, second. He was second, Tony, I believe. Number 2 top Halo player of all time.
Yep.
So Lethal's already done his thing. He's already made millions. The guy, I wouldn't say he's at the end of his rope. Absolutely not. I think he's still got a lot to offer. But if we're talking about comparing, how much time each of these guys have, Collect has got a long time ahead of him, and he's already freaking disgusting. So he's got to prove himself. He's got to maybe hop on this SSG roster and just, put all that aside. Like you said, maybe they have the conversation. They put all that aside, and he goes in and performs his best and tries to do his best with the roster that's given him and performs. But I'm gonna tell you, that's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough if they don't have that talk. They've got to have a talk because I haven't seen any scrims just yet. But I guarantee if that talk wasn't given, you can tell in the comms. Like right away, you'll be able to tell in the comms. The complaining, the what the frig, why isn't anyone with me? Why are we there? You'll be able to hear it. And I'm going to look for that. I'm going to look for an SSG scrim to kind of see where they're at. But hopefully, as young as he is, he doesn't let it affect him, and he just moves on, and business is business, right? At the end of the day, business is business. He's got to get to work because he's got a huge future ahead of him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to premise this by saying that, I don't know what conversations are happening behind the scene.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've mended fences since then. I don't even know if I tell you, we don't even know if there really is a problem, even though
True,
I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to go out on the limb and say from the conversations that I've heard, in Twitch chats and read, and I feel like there was, where there's smoke, there's fire. I think there was issues.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they still are there. I don't know if they are. But I hate to beat a dead horse. I think it's the same thing. Have the conversation individually. Then as a team is,
so
how do you feel about personally, professionally? Yeah. Do you feel like we can win together? And if the answer is yes, from everybody, you go through it.
Yeah.
If the answer is no, then nothing should be holding you back from looking for opportunities to work out for, if not one, if not both, at least one side.
Agree.
And it can be as simple as a trade. It can be as simple as a let go. Running screws with the team, the players.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you have to do. If the answer is no, the answer is yes. Figure it out. You're professionals.
Get to
to
work.
break it to you. And again, that's where I feel like that level of leadership needs to come in and needs to command what the hell was going on, and need to have the tough conversations, have the tough questions, and figure out what it is. Collect is in a situation where, and no matter where he's gonna be successful, his play style is he kills, plays fast, excited to watch. Like he's going to be okay.
Right.
He's going to be perfect. So I'm not worried about Collect. I think, and the thing about him is that in his situation, SSG, if they happen, if SSG happens to go a separate way, which I'm not saying they have to, I think Collect is phenomenal, and I love that squad. You heard me. I was talking them up left, right, and center. I love SSG. I love the org, and I love the players.
Same.
I think the players are fantastic. But if they decide to go a separate way and they pulled, I don't know, say they stole a Sab, a Suspector, I'm trying to think of another. I don't know, a Swish or somebody who can also get yourself killed, get yourself picked, steal, stuff the stat sheet, the Talik from KZ. Any one of those guys, I think SG is still going to be successful.
Yep.
I truly do.
I agree.
I think if Cullet goes to any team, he's going to add value. I literally don't even care who it is. G1, KCP, Optic, Sentinels, reality check. And no matter what, he's going to add value to any team. So I think it's a situation, no matter what the hell happens with this squad, I think they're going to be successful. Like I truly do. Whether they're with them or whether they stay together or they don't. So
the reality check thing just threw me off.
Legitimately, figure, it's at this point it's kind of a joke. Figure it out.
Yeah,
if you guys can play together, do it. If you can't, and then figure out a trade. Try to get
it's so different than it was.
To me, it seems so simple. And I don't know if it is. Like if you cannot win with him on your squad, okay, cool. Ring. Exit. We want Suspector. Oh, who can you give us? We don't want this person. Oh, well, we have Collect. Cool, let's do it. From the outside looking in, this seems so simple, and I'm sure it's not. I'm sure there's a lot more that goes along with it.
Yeah.
It's just it's almost comical to me. Like I said, I don't know what's happening. Maybe this is already fixed and we don't know.
That'd be good.
And that's why I call this barbershop talk. We're not coming in as insiders.
Yeah.
Me and Active are fans of this esport. And we just love talking about it the same way you guys like talking about it, hearing about it. We're just fans. So again, that's why I call it barbershop talk. But figure it out.
Yeah,
succeed together or separate.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about how hard it is, and I don't know either. I'll be upfront and honest, but I do know the scene back in the day. I do know the scene back in 2006, 2007. Everything was like boom, 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 boom. We want strong side. We're gonna remove Saiyan from Final Boss. We want strong side instead. Like, that was instant, right? Nowadays, you have contracts, you have buyouts. These guys have large buyouts, which make it really hard to get bought out of their contract. If your contract's not ended, you got to be bought out. I mean, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, and these guys are young, and they're just signing contracts up. And maybe they don't see that buyout as a huge deal. Maybe they see their future. Collect is a player who is up and coming. SSG is a great roster to get him some eyes. But maybe his buyout's so large that it's just not possible for any other roster to pick him up, and that's where it becomes a problem. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I've never read Collect's contract, but the
buyouts are there.
Yeah,
but it's not like from my understanding is, if you're a player who wants to leave, maybe adhere to that dollar amount of the buyout. But a situation like from here, Pistol and Optic. Pistol has a giant buyout, but Optic are willing to deal him. They're not going to hold him back to the full amount of that buy. They're willing to work with him.
I love that. That's a very good point. Very good point, Tony.
And so and it's a situation where, again, like, if he's just a commodity on your bench and you're going to restrict him, and I'm not saying it's SGR, I'm not saying they aren't. I'm just saying if anybody is, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. At least trade him, and maybe you don't get equal value. Like let's be honest. In any trade in NBA, NFL, like, do you get equal value on the surface?
Not. No,
it's literally not possible. No. But for you to hold somebody back and not seek out any kind of like compensation or commodity battle. I don't mean it's called players commodity. I feel like that's
I understand what you're saying.
But I'm saying, like, if you're going to sit a player on your bench and not actively trade him and seek equal value in another player, or close to it, I think that's just that's kind of a stupid decision. Okay, like, it's bad on you for the public eye, and it's also bad for the player. Like, it's bad for the league. Like, who is that good for? So to me, I just think, like, if this can, and again, I'm not talking about SSG, I'm not talking about play, I'm not saying if I'm just talking hypothetically, like, I feel like maybe 5 days is too soon for you to do it, but at some point, I feel like, again, can this work? If you don't feel like it can, okay, let's start looking for avenues on how we can make us better or make us as good, or let's figure out something.
I love it.
That's the talk. That's the talk with the talk about the mental and the situation between Rostermania and how it affects organizations, players, and their mental. We want to go in. I want to go into a question from the chat before we shut things down.
Okay.
I know we're getting close.
Yeah.
I believe you picked out Skip Blaster. What's up, Skip? What's the limits with G1 with Boo Boo Doo? You want to take that first, or?
Yeah, sure. I will. No, I will take it first. Sure. Boo Boo Doo. I think this G1 roster, dude, looks phenomenal. And when I saw Boo Boo scrimming with them, when I saw him entering opens with them, I was questioning, like, okay, where's Boo Boo's head at? He tweeted, recently, not recently, a couple weeks ago, he said this. He said, unfortunately, I've just lost the best opportunity of my life to play with the best 3 players I've ever played with. And that's unfortunate for me. I've got to move on. And he hasn't been fully announced yet, obviously, whatever, but that was his tweet. I don't even know if he deleted it by now. He might have. So we knew that he wasn't going to be on Faze anymore, but we didn't know that G1 was his target, and maybe he didn't know that either. But then, but then he plays with them in the open. He's scrimming with them. They're winning, and we just see him play 3 opens in a row, and he's just dominating with this squad. These guys look like they've been playing forever, and that's what I was hoping to see out of Faze. But we saw it out of G1, and now G1 is contending for potentially top 6. Would you agree, Tony? Top 6? I mean, I think these guys look phenomenal. With Boo Boo, I mean, this guy is a genius when it comes to Halo, in my opinion. And I think he will bring a lot of veteranship. I think he'll bring that championship prowess. I think he knows what it takes to win championships. Will G1 win one? I think it's going to take a lot. And let me tell you something. When you look at G1, they're giving a lot. We got Eli the Ninja in the gym grind. He's taking ice baths, Tony. He's taking a page out of Ace's book, taking ice baths. Like, this org wants to win, man. And I think Boo Boo is their key to potentially make that happen. Like you said before, any team can win. Any team can bring their best. I think G1 is a I can't confidently say with my brain that they're going to win a tournament. But I can confidently say with my brain that I think they can place top 8 with this roster, and I think that they'll only grow from here, and that is incredible. So that's what I think about G1. That's what I think in terms of like their limit, etc. I think that Boo Boo literally skyrockets their ceiling, and I think they've got a lot of potential with him on the team.
Yeah, I mean, Is any secret that I like the G1? I don't think it's
no secret. No secret.
I don't think it's a secret. But I mean, if it is, shoot, that's the worst kept secret there is.
I heard the heart talking. What does the brain say?
Yeah, I mean, what are G1's limits? I mean, the sky's the limit. I mean, like,
I love it.
When we're talking about potential, we're talking about, what a team can accomplish based on them playing at their apex. If G1 are playing at their apex, their potential is winning tournaments.
Yeah.
Now we bring it down to expectation, because again, we have potential, we have expectation, you have a ceiling, you have a floor,
right?
And somewhere in the middle is where the hell you are,
right?
So I want to say G1 walk into a tournament top 8. I want to say that.
Okay.
And it also matters if you're talking about regional or worldwide. So we'll say Orlando, which is bringing the entire world. I want to say G1 walk in top 8. I just have too much respect for everyone around to say that. The G2s, the Pioneers, the Fanatics, and Complexities have been doing it a little bit longer than G1 have. Yeah. And although G1 look great, I think with Boo they've ascended to another level. With Boo Boo, they've won 10-7 in a scrim against Sentinels. Not saying this scrims are everything, but they took 5 games off of Cloud9, the best of 13. They beat the Pioneers at a 8-4 in the best of 12. G1 have found success.
Yep.
And to ignore them would be ignorant and stupid. and there's one thing, I may say I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I'm not stupid.
Right.
And G1, I'm gonna say, walk into any tournament, guarantee top 12. Contending for top 8, and a stretch goal for them should be top 6 in the world. Okay. Orlando. I'm not talking about a regional.
Yep.
If they continue on this trajectory, I will bump it up a little bit. Okay. I'll say top 8 guaranteed. I'll say top 6 contending for, and I'll say a stretch goal of top 4 in Orlando. And I think that is fair, because I don't want to be. I don't want to suffer from recency bias. I've been there, done that. Don't want to do it again. Yeah. So let's see. Let me see a little bit more. Give me the super. Let me see, because again, you go into these scrims and whatnot, and still, there's not a lot of expectations on you. But going into the super, the way you've been playing right now, the way your organization is thriving, the way Boo Boo Doo has something to play for, being left out of that Faze roster, we are going to have an expectation for G1. Yeah. And then the question is going to be like, hey, cool. Did you accomplish this goal? Did you reach the heights that you were meant for? Or did you choke? Yeah. There's only 2 ways to go from this as far as the public goes. I don't know if you read the Twitch chat. They're brutal.
They are brutal.
So let me see what they do in the super, and then I'll decide if I'm ready to elevate them. But as of right now, I'm not going to suffer from recency bias. I'm going to say guaranteed top 12 walk in the door, which is phenomenal, by the way.
Very phenomenal.
I mean, that has you beating out Complexity, at least one, if not multiple, of Complexity G1. I'm sorry, Complexity, G2, Pioneers, Fnatic. You would have to beat, if not one, multiple of those out. So I think top 12 is still phenomenal in the world.
I agree.
You also got to include the Na'Vis, the Chiefs, to get to top 12.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, contending for top 8 and a stretch goal of top 6. I think that's fair for me to say right now.
I agree.
Before I've had the opportunity to see more. But I will also say, man, G1 are scary.
Yeah.
There's not many teams out there that are going up against the Elite 3 and winning. And even when they're not winning, they're going the distance. There's not many. Reality Check aren't doing that. Let's be honest, G1 are.
Right.
Because, if I was to put that in perspective, G1 10-7 over Sentinels, 9 days ago?
Yeah, that's a big deal.
If I look up, let's look up Fnatic, for example. Not to put them on the, out in the light, but let's look up a Fnatic. Fnatic aren't doing that.
Right.
Fnatic, are I'm trying to look for a Fnatic and Sentinels matchup. I can't seem to find one as quickly as I thought I would. I apologize. But the main point I'm trying to say is there's not many that are doing that against the Elite Three.
100% agree.
So, G1, take your wins where you can. Don't get cocky, and we'll see you during the Super. And I know for a fact, if I'm not at an hour, I think we are just about. I think we're just about. This has been the HCS Source. Why not be reckless? AK, why not be casting? Kind of freaking big deal. If you don't know that, you know. HCS commentator, stream every day, 11 o'clock in the morning, every single morning. We even play with viewers. I do YouTube content talking about stuff like this all the time. And you can find me on the Twitter. I believe my ad's right down below. Active, where can we find you?
Hey, my name's Active. I'm a mouse and keyboard Halo player, and I stream every day on Twitch. It's my full-time job, and I'm also a caster as well. Hoping to one day be on the HCS, and working towards that. But I cast for LVT, and I cast a whole bunch of other Halo tournaments as well. So hope to continue to do that. I mean, Tony, this has been an incredible show. Honestly, I had such a good time talking about all these rosters, and I can't wait to see these storylines kind of pan out. It's going to be very, very exciting. Like Tony said, this is HCS Source. You can find us here every single Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, and on Thursday, it'll be uploaded to YouTube and Spotify, but on the Twitch, we're live. So if you want to come see the show live, make sure you're here, twitch.tv/HCS Source on Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. And of course, make sure you sub to the YouTube and sub to the Spotify if you're interested in getting these shows, and make sure you turn on notifications as well, as we do post these every Thursday on both of those platforms. Tony, it's been a pleasure for the live chat that was with us today. It's been a pleasure as well. Thank you guys for keeping us company. That's going to be it for me. That's going to be it for Tony. We'll see you on the next show.